Welcome back to my channel. Was this really just a simple corporate disagreement? Or did we just witness the permanent demolition of the most iconic couple in daytime history? Ridge Forrester has finally made his choice. For Brooke Logan, it's the ultimate betrayal that changes everything. You have to wonder, is this actually the end of Bridge for good this time? I've been watching this show for years, and I've seen them break up and make up more times than I can count. But this feels different. This wasn't some misunderstanding over a text or a secret kiss in a foreign city. This was a fundamental, earth-shattering shift in their entire dynamic. Brooke Logan just took off her wedding ring, slammed it on Ridge's desk and walked out. Stick around because we are diving deep into why this divorce isn't just another cycle of drama. It's the dawn of a total Logan Forrester war. The air inside the Forrester Creations office wasn't just tense this week. It was radioactive. For years we've seen Brooke and Ridge weather every storm. But what happened here was a total power shift. When Brooke walked in and demanded that Ridge replace his own daughter Steffi with her as co-CEO, she wasn't just asking for a promotion. She was testing Ridge's loyalty. She was forcing him to choose between his destiny and his legacy. Well, think about it. Why did Brooke take this massive risk now? It wasn't just a sudden thirst for power. It was a desperate maternal instinct to protect Hope's career. She saw Steffi acting like a corporate dictator. Steffi has been shelving Hope for the future and claiming it's about business, but we all know the truth. She's being petty because Katie is working with Eric. Brooke saw her daughter's life work being destroyed just to stroke Steffi's ego. So Brooke made her move. She wanted to restore balance. But the funny thing is, she completely misunderstood where Ridge's head is at right now. He doesn't see Brooke as his equal partner in the empire anymore. He sees her as a Logan who is lucky to have a seat at the table. Internally, Brooke was likely terrified but also empowered. She truly believed that after all the decades of sacrifice she's offered Ridge, he would finally stand up for her daughter. Instead, she was met with a cold, stubborn no that dismissed her worth in a single breath. The look on her face wasn't just disappointment. It was the realization that she has been shrinking herself to fit into his world for far too long. We need to look at this rejection in a new light. This wasn't Ridge being a fair boss. It was Ridge asserting Forrester dominance over Logan Blood. By telling Brooke that Steffi is the future of the company, he effectively told his wife that her bloodline is a second-class citizen. It was a corporate slap in the face that functioned as a personal divorce long before the paperwork was even mentioned. I honestly think Brooke was justified in her audacity. For too long, the Logans have been treated like supporting characters in the Forrester saga. Ridge's refusal to even consider a compromise shows a level of arrogance that is just exhausting to watch. He expected Brooke to just calm down and accept the crumbs, but he severely miscalculated her breaking point. Just as the Brooke and Ridge ship was hitting the iceberg, Taylor Hayes returned to the scene. And let's just say her St. Taylor halo is looking a bit lopsided these days. Taylor didn't just come back for a visit. She came back to find out that her longtime rival was trying to oust her daughter from the throne. Taylor's reaction to Brooke's power grab is pretty hypocritical if you think about it. She's viewing Brooke through a harsher new perspective now. It essentially confirms her old bias that Brooke is just a manipulative opportunist. Taylor's ego is tied to Steffi's success. If Steffi stays on top, Taylor wins the long-term war against the Logans. She is using this situation to justify her own feelings, framing herself as the protective mother versus Brooke the aggressor. But what's really triggering Taylor isn't just the CEO position. It's the instability of the entire family structure. She's historically been the one waiting for Ridge, but her return is timed perfectly with her own scandalous mess. She's been involved with Deacon Sharp. This creates a bizarre paradox. Taylor is furious at Brooke for being disloyal to the Forrester brand, while Taylor herself is sleeping with the man who is a massive stain on that brand's history. I'm actually loving this messy version of Taylor. For years she's been the moral compass, which is usually just code for being boring. Seeing her sneak around with Deacon while judging Brooke for her motives is peak soap drama. It makes her human and a much more dangerous adversary for Brooke than she's ever been before. We have to talk about the absolute irony of Ridge Forrester's reaction to Taylor and Deacon. This man is supposedly happy with Brooke, yet the second he hears that Taylor is moving on with Deacon Sharp, he loses his mind. Why does Ridge care so much? It's classic. Rich Forrester syndrome. He doesn't necessarily want Taylor, but he hates that someone else has her. He especially hates that it's someone he considers beneath him like Deacon. His obsession with Taylor's love life while he's still married to Brooke is the height of disrespect. He's acting like a territorial ex-boyfriend rather than a committed husband. This all stems from Ridge's massive ego and his God complex. He views both Brooke and Taylor as his possessions. He thinks they should always be available to stroke his ego. Seeing Taylor choose Deacon, a guy with a criminal record, is a direct insult to Ridge's self-worth as Forrester royalty. It's not about Taylor's safety. It's about Ridge's inability to control the story of his own life. Is it even love that he feels for Taylor? Or is it just a reaction to loss? The spoilers suggest he realizes he's still in love with Taylor only after she's unavailable. This proves he doesn't love the woman. He loves the validation she provides. Brooke is finally seeing that she's just a default setting for when things with Taylor are complicated. The moment Brooke Logan took off that wedding ring and slammed it on the desk will go down in history. It wasn't just a divorce filing. It was a declaration of independence from the entire Forrester empire. Brooke didn't cry this time. She didn't plead for him to understand. She got fiercely, terrifyingly mad. That shift from sorrow to rage is a huge milestone for her character. She spent decades forgiving Ridge for his blind spots regarding Thomas and Steffi. But this time the rejection was too public and too professional. She realized that staying with Ridge means staying small, and Brooke Logan is done being small. Ridge likely thought she was bluffing. He's so used to the toxic cycle where Brooke always comes back that he didn't realize he had finally pushed her too far. By choosing his daughter's ego over his wife's dignity, he effectively ended the marriage himself. Brooke just had the courage to make it official. I am so proud of Brooke in this moment. We've seen her be a doormat for Ridge's whims for way too long. Taking that power back and realizing she is Brooke freaking Logan is the character arc we've been waiting for. She doesn't need Ridge's validation to be a force of nature. She created a whole company before, and she can do it again. While the parents are playing these toxic games, the younger generation is getting shredded. Hope is absolutely devastated after her mother's failure to secure that co-CEO spot. Hope's reaction is a mix of entitlement and genuine desperation. She truly believed the Logan power would save her line, and now she has to face the reality that she is powerless under Steffi's reign. This is causing a massive rift between her and Brooke. Hope sees her mother's subsequent damage control, where Brooke actually started praising Steffi, as a total betrayal. Hope is feeling abandoned by the one person who was supposed to be her champion. Then there's Zend. This guy is the forgotten Forrester. He's watching RJ, the golden child, get all the opportunities while his own work is shelved indefinitely. Zend's frustration is a ticking time bomb. He's reevaluating his future at the company because he realizes that in Steffi's world, talent doesn't matter as much as bloodline and loyalty. We should look at this as a mass exodus in the making. If Hope leaves and Zend follows her, Forrester Creations loses its creative soul and its biggest moneymaker. Steffi thinks she's winning by being a dictator, but she's actually ruling over an empty kingdom. I expect Hope to finally listen to Liam and Bill and jump ship to Logan Designs. But she won't go alone. She might take Zend with her, and together, they could create a rival fashion house that will make Forrester Creations look like yesterday's news. The irony would be perfect. Ridge will have saved the company for Steffi, only to have it become obsolete. With Ridge and Brooke officially headed for divorce, the traditional lines of the show are being redrawn. Brooke is no longer tied to protecting Ridge's interests, which makes her the most dangerous woman in Los Angeles. Spoilers hint that Brooke might switch sides and join Carter Walton's plan to take over the company. Carter has been vocal about Brooke being the rightful CEO, not Steffi. If Brooke joins forces with Carter and Hope, she's not just fighting for a job. She's fighting for total control. This would be a massive villain origin story moment for Brooke, but from her perspective, it's just justice. She has been loyal to a fault, even sabotaging her own sister Katie to stay on Ridge's good side. Now that Ridge has discarded her, that loyalty is gone. The united Logan front of Brooke, Katie, and Donna against the Forresters is a mouth-watering prospect. I think Brooke becoming co-CEO with Carter is exactly what the show needs. It flips the script and puts the Forresters on the defensive for once. Steffi's smugness needs a reality check, And there's no one better to deliver it than a scorned Brooke Logan with the full backing of the legal department. We also can't ignore the absolute firestorm involving Taylor and Deacon. Taylor and Deacon are in their honeymoon phase, but as we know, Deacon is still technically married to Sheila Carter. This affair is basically a suicide mission. Taylor is disgusted by Brooke's power grab, yet she's engaging in a boundary-crossing relationship with her patient's father. The hypocrisy is staggering, but it's what makes it great TV. Taylor is finally prioritizing her own desires over her saintly image. Deacon, for his part, seems genuinely smitten. He treats Taylor like a woman, not a backup plan. For the first time, Taylor is with a man who isn't constantly looking over her shoulder to see if Brooke is in the room. This gives her a level of confidence that is making her more assertive and more aggressive. But Sheila is going to find out. When she does, the corporate war will seem like a playground squabble. Sheila doesn't do divorce papers. She does accidents. Ridge's attempt to save Taylor from Deacon will likely put him directly in Sheila's crosshairs. We are witnessing the dawn of a new era on the show. The bridge divorce isn't just a plot point. It's a structural change to the show's DNA. For years, the show has relied on the Ridge-Brooke-Taylor triangle. But by removing the bridge foundation and adding the Deacon and Sheila layers, the show is becoming much more complex. It's no longer just about who Ridge chooses. It's about who survives the fallout. Ridge is currently the most isolated he's ever been. He's lost Brooke. His relationship with Taylor is a mess of jealousy. And his daughter is becoming a corporate tyrant that even he might not be able to control. He's a king without a queen, ruling over a family that is actively tearing itself apart. I think it's time for the Logans to truly topple Forrester Creations. Let the Forresters see what happens when they lose the people who have been the wind in their sails for decades. Brooke, Hope and Katie as a powerhouse trio would be the ultimate vindication. In the next 2 weeks, expect the truce between Zend and RJ to shatter. Expect Steffi to make a move to fire Hope, which will be the catalyst for Brooke to officially sign those divorce papers and join Carter's rebellion. By the end of the month, the Forrester mansion is going to be a very lonely place for the dressmaker. So what do you think? Is Brooke right to dump Ridge for good this time, or is she just as power-hungry as Taylor claims? Should Hope finally leave Forrester Creations and start a Logan empire, or is she making a mistake by walking away from her legacy? I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Let's debate in the comments. This Logan versus Forrester war is just getting started, and I want to know whose side you're on. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the absolute chaos at Forrester Creations, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to stay updated on every single bridge explosion, Taylor scandal and corporate coup, you need to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You definitely don't want to miss what we have planned for the Sheila and Deacon reveal next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Think about the sheer weight of Brooke slamming that ring down. For years, that ring represented her destiny. But when Ridge chose Steffi over Hope, he basically told Brooke that her destiny was second to his daughter's ego. Can you blame her for finally snapping? Ridge has always had this massive blind spot when it comes to his kids with Taylor. He acts like Steffi and Thomas are these perfect heirs, and everyone else should just be grateful for the crumbs. Brooke has put up with this Forrester superiority complex for decades. Tonight she finally said, "No more." And what about Taylor? She comes back and immediately starts judging Brooke's motives. She's furious that Brooke tried to push Steffi out. But wait a second. Taylor is the one who gave Steffi shares in the company years ago specifically to protect her from Ridge's unfair decisions. So Taylor knows exactly how Ridge can be. Yet she's still siding against Brooke. It's that classic rivalry that never seems to die. But this time it's personal. Taylor isn't just protecting Steffi. She's also hiding her own secret with Deacon. The funny thing is how Ridge reacted to the news of Taylor and Deacon. He's supposedly committed to Brooke, but he's obsessing over Taylor's love life like a jealous ex. It's that classic Ridge ego. He can't handle that Taylor, his safety net, is with the one guy he considers beneath him. He's confronting Deacon and questioning Taylor, and it's clearly coming from a place of possessiveness. Brooke is standing right there, and she has to watch her husband get all worked up over his ex-wife sleeping with her own ex-lover. It's humiliating. The spoilers say Ridge realizes he's still in love with Taylor because of this jealousy. He realizes he picked the wrong woman. So he decides to divorce Brooke. Again. Do they even file the paperwork anymore? Or do they just keep it in a drawer with a pencil nearby? So toxic, but you have to admit it's addictive to watch. We are about to see a massive rivalry between Ridge and Deacon. Ridge is going to play dirty to win Taylor back. But Deacon isn't the same guy he used to be. He's a proud father, and he thinks Hope walks on water. This is going to lead to a huge fight between Deacon and Taylor over their daughters. And then there's the Sheila factor. If Deacon is fighting with Ridge over Taylor, that means he's effectively leaving Sheila. And we all know what happens when you leave Sheila Carter. People end up in the hospital or worse. Ridge isn't just walking into a divorce. He's walking into a firestorm. Meanwhile, back at the office, things are falling apart. Zend is reaching an understanding about his future. He's sick of being ignored while RJ gets all the glory. He might just follow Hope out the door if she decides to leave. Steffi is completely worn out by the fighting. She thinks Hope is the real brain behind Brooke's desire for the co-CEO job. And maybe she's right. Hope was definitely pushing her mom to stage a coup. But now that it's failed, Hope is left with nothing. She has to make a major choice about her life. Will she stay and be miserable? Or will she join Katie and Bill at Logan Designs? Katie is actually having a hard time with this. She's worried she's only hiring Hope to hurt Brooke. This whole situation is a mess of family loyalties and corporate greed. Carter is still standing his ground against Ridge. He thinks Brooke should be CEO, not Steffi. He praises Brooke for making decisions based on evidence, unlike Steffi, who he thinks is being too emotional. If Brooke joins Carter's team, it would be a huge image booster for the company. It could help combat the backlash once the takeover news goes public. Brooke is a beloved figure with fans all over the world. Having her lead the company alongside Carter makes a lot of sense. So we have a divorce, a corporate takeover, a secret affair, and a potential murder on the horizon with Sheila. It's a lot to process. But that's why we love this show, right? Every time you think things are settling down, someone slams a ring on a desk or walks back into town with a new perspective. This war between the Logans and the Forresters is getting deeper and more bitter than ever before. It's not just about fashion lines anymore. It's about respect, legacy, and blood. Brooke filing for divorce is her ultimate declaration of war. She's no longer tied to Ridge. She has no reason to hold back anymore. I want to see the ruthless Brooke again. The one who takes what she wants and doesn't apologize for it. She's been the default for too long. It's time for her to be the lead in her own story. And as for Ridge, he might find out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. If he thinks Taylor is just going to come running back while she's with Deacon, he has another thing coming. What do you think is going to happen next? Will Sheila find out about Taylor and Deacon before Ridge can save her? Will Carter and Brooke actually pull off the takeover of Forrester Creations? And will Hope finally find her own voice outside of her mother's shadow? There are so many questions, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our updates. We'll be right here covering every single twist and turn. Thanks for joining me today, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Whose team are you on? Team Logan or Team Forrester? Let me know. The next 2 weeks are going to be wild. Corporate power plays, family rivalries, and shocking secrets are going to change everything. Brooke is dealing with immense anger, and the fact that Ridge won't change his mind is making work unbearable. Katie is trying to change her plans before things get worse. We're even going to see some familiar faces return as everyone has to choose sides in this company war. It's going to be intense, and you definitely don't want to miss a single episode. Stay tuned, because the drama is just getting started. Think about the pressure Ridge and Brooke are under right now. Spoilers say the pressure is going to make them crack. And for longtime fans, a divorce isn't shocking. But this time it's different because of the professional strain. They won't be able to handle the stress of knowing that Katie's new fashion house is pushing Forrester Creations to the side. Brooke is going to realize that she and Ridge just don't see eye to eye on anything anymore. And maybe she'll realize she's in the wrong fashion house altogether. She is a Logan after all. Why not jump ship and support her sister? There is so much more to come, and I'm going to be here for every second of it. Make sure you hit that like button if you're excited to see what happens next. And don't forget to subscribe so you're the first to know when we drop a new video. We've got a lot of exciting things planned, and you won't want to miss them. Thanks for being part of the community, and I'll see you soon. Keep it bold, keep it beautiful, and most importantly, keep watching. It's going to be a wild ride, and I'm so glad we're on it together. See you in the next one.